Bob Proctor used to always say, mental activity does not constitute thinking. Most people would rather die than think. A thought, a real thought, thinking interrupts the cycle. You become a cycle breaker when you start thinking. When you think, well, what do I want in my life? Do I want hatred? Do I want envy? Do I want jealousy? Do I want resentment? Do I want all those things? Do I want guilt and shame? Now you're thinking, what do I want? What would serve me better? And you start creating again. That's why I say you're re-engaging the creative mind, because most of us are in a hypnotic state. That is the autopilot running in our life. And that is a victim mentality. That is when circumstances in our life are in control. They keep controlling our creative power and keep the same thing going on repeat. So now you guys know you have an automatic mechanism inside of you. And you also know that you can tap that. You can interrupt the cycle and install something new so your autopilot starts working for you. That's going to take some time and some persistence for you to rewire the subconscious mind, because the issues are in the tissues, as they say, meaning your body keeps reminding you. Why? Because those unprocessed emotions are now blocking the flow of energy and creating resistance. That feels like exhaustion. It feels like fatigue. Right? If it's been happening over and over and your nervous system is shot, right? You can reclaim your vital energy very quickly if you do what I'm suggesting you do. How did you send him love? Compassion for his plight, which made him behave that way? Good question. I'm glad you brought this up. I was already compassionate. I was incredibly empathetic and compassionate growing up. In fact, I became the dysfunctional empath. What is a dysfunctional empath? That is someone who's too permeable. Other people's emotions now rub off on you and they're permeating you, and you don't know who you are anymore. You're not rooted in your own frame. That's dysfunctional empathy. That was me. Very sensitive. In fact, I think I was an HSP, or a highly sensitive person, right? And my father was this narcissist, this controlling person who would take advantage of that and manipulate and thrive on other people being weak, right? And that's the old story, by the way, that I don't resonate with anymore, but that was the story that was active. So the solution for me wasn't about empathy for him. It was about the picture of him in my mind, which, like I told you, was one of a monster, of a scary person who didn't care. All I had to do was start picturing him differently. And this is a practice I do with my community. We do this from time to time in our meditation, where I help them tap into their vital power and get hyper in touch with your heart and the flow of love within you. Very cathartic and empowering practice we do. And then I have them send that to someone in their life that's causing them discomfort, or that's been bugging them, or that's been causing conflict for them in here. And so you picture that flow of energy. You picture the white light that's emanating from your heart, beaming anywhere in the world. It can go to anyone or anything instantly, because this all happens in the kingdom of your own mind. That's the significance here. And it actually has nothing to do with your physical relationship with the person or the thing. In other words, you don't have to reignite contact with them if you're in a no contact like I am, or I was at the time. I was in a no contact period with my father while I'm healing my relationship with him. Does that make sense? Why is that significant? Because do you know that your relationship with other people is not really about them? It's about the idea of them that you're carrying. Do you know that? This applies to your job. It applies to your vitality, or excuse me, your prosperity. It applies to money. Maybe you have a fear-based relationship with money. You can do exactly what I'm telling you. Does it mean to have compassion for money? No, it means to send love to money. It means that if you have fear, that fear is calling you to neutralize that energy with its counterpart energy. I'm talking on an energetic perspective, the law of polarity. Everything has two poles. Every subject is really two subjects. So on the subject of prosperity, for example, you have scarcity and lack on one side. You've got abundance and prosperity on the other side. Same subject, two polar opposites. And many of us have been caught in a pattern of sliding to the negative pole and letting the negative energy permeate our field. And our work is to know that we're energetic beings and know that we can slide to the other side of that by sending our vital energy to that thing. Metaphorically, of course, because it's happening internally. It's happening internally. So you're healing the image of the person or the thing or the idea. You're healing it inside of yourself. So it really doesn't have anything to do with compassion around what he went through. It had nothing to do with that. I had all that growing up. I had compassion for my parents' pain. I felt sorry for them. Then I ended up feeling sorry for myself. And that feeling sorry for myself and sorry for people became that emotional pattern that I got stuck in. So I had to go a little bit away from the empathy side of things and start getting grounded in my own frame, letting other people have negative emotion. People can have sadness, they can have grief, they can have their own shame. That doesn't need to knock me off my course or my frame. Right? It's okay. People can experience negative emotion. They're strong, they're resilient, they can come into their own power. They don't need me to take it on for them.